Hello everyone and welcome to my craft room. Today is day 35 of the 100-day project, and I'm going to follow Rachel today and do watercolours. Okay, so I've got some watercolour pencils and I've got some pens. My sister gave me these, which is fabulous, and I did have my tubes out, but I thought, no, that's too messy. These are just so much easier. So I did a few. I just played and did this little one. Now I stamped this with my Stazon, it was brown, where are we? Timber brown, but it needs to be re-inked. So it didn't really come out, but the watercolour has taken over more than the ink, which is great. And the stamp, I just stamped a few little stamps out of a Butterfly Basics, it's called, from Stamping Up on. I don't know whether it's still available or not. So I stamped a couple of them. I then did in the black, jet black, Stazon Jet Black. Now these inks will let you, and then VersaFine, the Vintage Sepia, will let you watercolour and the colour won't run. If you can use your archival inks. I always use those. Okay, so I did those, and then I did these little ones. And this is also a Stamping Up set. It was one from one of their Celebrations catalogue that you got as a freebie if you bought a certain amount of products. So I'd forgotten I had them both, so time to use them. So I just put a few little fibres. I put some paper behind it, some shorthand paper, and I just basically played. And then I have a box full of stamps that I've got. they're Kazaz stamps, and I've mounted them on just pieces of wood and then stamped on. You can see it's a little bit of veneer wood there. So let's have a play. Now pop this here because, oh, and you can still see the shine of the light. Oh well, hopefully we won't see too much of it. So I'll just show you. Now, I'm not an artist by any means. I have learnt how to watercolour years ago, but forgotten most of the stuff. So we'll just play. Now, I've got my brushes. I've got one that's got a wide... Oh God, and I should get more water in that. Oh well, we'll work something out. Then I've got one that's got a little bit finer tip, and I've chosen this one with a bit wider tip. So they're the three I've chosen today to play with. Okay, let's start with the simple one to start with, and we'll do it with the watercolor, the pencils. Now, like I said, everyone does it differently. I'll just take these out. Put those over there. What I tend to do is wet my page down first. So I'll just put water all over, and this paper, it's a reasonably cheap, where do I put it now? Watercolour paper. Lit up the... I turned the wrong way. It was $5.25 in a bargain centre, so it's the Montmartre, however you say that, and it's 190 GSM. It has got a bit of texture to it. I don't think you'll be able to see the texture. I don't know what that flickering is. A little bit of texture to it, and for these projects it's great. I've got other more expensive arches This one is, oh God, you don't want to see all my mucking around, do you? This one is also textured, but you can feel the quality. It's just beautiful. That's a Monet. I want to say Monet. This is 300 GSMs, and this is Kazaz put it out, and it's great for. It's smooth one side and rough the other. So that is I do enjoy using that one as well. There's a universal drawing pad. This one is a 300 get away from all my playing. GSM2, and this again is smooth on one side and rough on the other. There's another Arches, and this one, I don't know, what was it, $11.95 for 12 sheets. So, you know, they're not, and this one I've used to stamp so that I can eventually colour those in. And then this one here is 160, and this is a little bit cheaper. I'm a little bunny. But this is very textured on that side, and what do you call it? Smooth on that side. Okay, so let's get to it. Peter's warned me that lunch is on its way, so I might have to move, and now that's dried. So let's just, over that area again, I'll just wet it a little bit. And this just helps the paint to move around easier. If you put it on dry, it'll just stay there, and then you've got to really work to get it going. So first up, I'm just going to use a bit of green. Now you can do it two ways. You can put your pencil onto the paper, but I like to just get my brush, and I'm in frame, aren't I? Yep. And just touch the pencil, and then just go onto the, and I just go on lightly to start with. You build up your colour is the way that I was taught. And you notice here it's leaked out. Oh, did I bring my... I'm just going to have to use my grotty towel. You can sponge it out. It's probably because I've got just a little bit too much water in that. So I just, and like, you know, there's so many people out there that will do this so much better than I do, but I just wanted to show you my method, and you know, how I do it and play, and something a little bit different, I suppose, to what I normally do. This brush is coming out a bit fast, so we'll just dab that off and build up again. So I hope everybody's well. Our restrictions here have been lifted a little bit, so we might be well, we've sort of been, it's been pretty good, because we've had only one case, and that was a few in the next town, and he self-isolated beautifully, and he was off the Ruby Princess, but that was good. So yeah, that's just a little bit bright for me, but that'll do. Okay, now I'm going to use red on these little, they look a bit like proteas or something like that. So I just pop it on. So if anyone's got any tips to tell me, I mean, don't hesitate. I'm up for any ideas that that you can give. And then I'll just dab it off again and just just build it where I want it a little bit darker in the centre of those flowers up the top there. I mean, this tea towel looks terrible, but it's one that I've used with tea staining stuff. If I want it watered down a little bit more, I just go like that and water it down a bit. So that's all I'm going to do for the flowers. It's going to be very, very simple. The butterfly, I'm just going to use a bit of yellow. A bit of yellow on the wings. A little bit of this browny, reddy colour. I don't tell you what colours they are. These are Kazaz ones as well. They haven't got a name on the colours. It's just watercolour pencil. So there we go. We'll just have to be satisfied with that. But it looks almost a terracotta-y colour. Okay, so we've got that. I'll just quickly do a dry on that. Just on the butterfly and the flowers. You don't have to, I didn't really do it on the last lot, but that's like that. Now, what I'm going to do is do a background wash. You can do these before, you can do them, you know, like now. It's entirely up to what you want to do. So I'm going to use this colour here again, but I'm going to use it fairly diluted. And all I'm doing is just brushing it out. And I knew this wouldn't go as well as when I did it beforehand, but it's okay. Just brushing it out, just to colour that background. And it's not, because it's so light, it's not making much of a difference to those leaves, and it's just giving us a little bit of a background around all the when I was learning at TAFE about to do watercolours, you know, you get all your little masking liquids to put over your pieces and mask them off so that you don't. But this I just want very quick, easy, because, you know, like we know, we seem to spend enough time on our albums as it is without spending a week painting a tag. And these I'm not going to decorate other than have the paint on them. Now I'm just going to go back in with my brush and just darken in around here, if it works. Just a little bit darker, just to and just blend it out into that other. I hope I can get a couple of these done. Not take too long doing it. But these are very therapeutic for me, just sitting and playing with them and, you know, just letting the juices flow, creative old juices. So that just darkens around the object, and then you've got the paler colour going out. Just up there a bit. I think I whispered then. Yeah. Okay. So that's the ones with the pencils. I'll just dry that off. Doesn't take that long to dry. And I think that looks a bit cute. Just imagine, just, you know, as a little tag. So what I did next, I've got an occasion craze, it is Stampin' Up colour, and that's sort of into those terracotta-y colours, so I just inked around the edges with that. So these little tags, I mean, they slip into any little spot in a journal and something a little bit different. I've got a little bit of, where is it? We might just put a little bit of I just want a little piece of that. Where's my... Just a little bit of something around the edge. And you know, you don't have to do this, but it just adds a little bit to the interest. And I'm just going to rip I ripped around the piece of watercolour paper and that just gave that nice effect there. Before I pop it, oh no, I'll pop it in first, on first I should say. Then I've just got these little stamps that I have. Let's put, what did I pick up first? Inspire. And I'll stamp them with the Versify, I think. Whoops, we're crooked, not to worry. Inspire, create. So what I'll do, seeing that one's a bit off, I'm going to make that one a little bit off too. And then play. And pop in there. I'll just eyeball across the bottom. And just go around the edges. Little tab there. And then I got this, found this in an op shop somewhere, this knitting yarn. It's got some beautiful textures through it. I almost feel as though I perhaps at one stage had a jumper with some similar material a long while ago. Now, where are we? Is that it on? Yep. Just grab my fibres through. And that, I think, is a cute little card. Just to pop into a little pocket with something else. You could even use it as a bookmark and stitch around the edges and it would be even better. But I've got blue in my machine, so we won't do that at the moment. Now, where's my other one I had here? Over this side. Now, the watercolour pens, I use them pretty much the same way. Although I do highlight, which one will we do, that one? I do highlight a bit with the pen. So I'm just going to put a little bit of water there because my pen is dry, and we'll just brush over and we'll do the flower first. Okay, so we'll do pink, I suppose it is, isn't it? Now I do these the same way, like that, or, which is a lot easier for me at the moment, I just pop it onto my mat, pick it up and just start, and it's as easy as that. Now that one is a bud, easy. That's the part that's pink there. This is the part that's pink there. I think that's a pink bit there. Now I'm just going to go back into the centre with a little bit darker and just bring it out towards the edges. And these are a bit darker, I thought. They've got, this stamp set has got some shadowing. You see down here. So if you add a little bit of extra on those lines, it brings out the depth of colour. So by doing that along there and then along here, it just gives the depth. And it's good. Whoops, I'm going off. And I'll just go on this side a bit darker and down here. Oh, that's green. Shouldn't be doing that one. Okay, and then I'm just going to go a little bit darker again in that centre. And to use up this colour, I'm just going to go over the butterfly. It's got dream, inspire, create and all that stuff written all over that little butterfly. So it's just basically using up the colour just to add some interest there. Okay, so we've done that part. And we'll just do the green. And I'll do the same. Pop my green down. So I've got the light green and I want some dark green. I've got the Tim Holtz colours too, which the distress pens, which are really excellent for this. And I thought I'll show you with the watercolours because you might have these and not the other. So I've done it a bit darker under here. Then I'm going to just go in with a touch of the darker green onto those lines that I was talking about. And just a bit on there and down the stem. go onto the got a bit dry, so I'm just going to pop a little bit more water over that area just so it flows a little bit easier. Basically all over those leaves with the lighter colour. So then I'll just come up and we'll just do a little bit darker on those tips. Just a smidge, just a little bit there, and underneath that leaf, that's the underside. And it gives the illusion of the light shining too on the... Actually that... I think this one here wasn't quite... Yep. Like I said, I'm no expert. This is just how I play and what I do. Rightly or wrongly, I don't know. You need the Susanna Easdales of the world to tell you whether I'm right or wrong. And like I said, I'm quite happy to be told. But I think that looks okay for me. So, yeah. Another little tip that I was taught, if you use lavender or purple, where is it, on your leaves, it gives that little effect of like the underside of your leaves. Now this one here, that is the underside there. So if you put a little bit of lavender, it deepens it or something. Don't ask me the technical terms. I'm just going to put some down there as well with a bit of that one over the top. Just sort of that area there just looks like it's sinking in the background. Is that right or not? Does that make sense? Just and into those little areas where just in there where you just want that little bit of depth. Bit of depth across there. And I guess it's all what your eye sees. That's the underside there. Looks like the leaves curled up. Down that side's a bit darker too. A little bit on there. Okay, and that's my little flower. Okay, now with these colours here, I'm just going to wash them in to the background. I'll put a little bit of this across here. Just very pale, but it just takes that starkness off the card. And again, that's going up this way, light, dark to light. I just want to see if I can just get that line down there. It's not going to. No, now I'm being too picky. When I was at TAFE, they said, Jeanette, if you want it perfect, go and take a photo. And I thought, well, probably the best advice I got. So just a little bit of purple over there just to bring that in as well. Okay, so let's just dry that off. Is that going to go on there? Nope. Do that. Just dry it a bit. I'll just dry it and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Nearly forgot to turn the camera on. So I've dried it off and I've backed it just onto some navy card, and I'm just going to pop an eyelet. Here. And then I've got some eyelash trim. I bought 7 balls of this for $2 in an op shop, and I was absolutely stoked. I got red, blue, I think there's a browny colour and something else. You can be lucky sometimes. Yeah, we're right. Got it all mixed up there. Terrible watching somebody struggle like that, isn't it? Okay, so there's that little one. I think these will go nice in my little journal that I'm doing for uni. Willowbound journals for the design team. So that's that little one. Get those out of the way. So these are the 2 that we did on camera, and these are a few that I did while I was playing. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just something different. Oh, and by the way, if you want to cheat, buy watercolour paper, but it's not as much fun. Okay, till we see each other next time, happy crafting, and bye for now.